This is the game we are going to analyze. The game is between Kavish versus Yash. White starts with e4, black plays e5, knight f3, d6, Philidor defense. d4 is fine, f6 is not good. See, now if he is attacking here, no, the simple move what you have to do here, exchange, take it. No need to give more supports. You just take it and get rid of this problem. There was a problem. What was the problem? That there were two attacks and only one support. So how to solve the problem? There are two different ways. One is simple way, second is complicated. Which is better? Simple way. How is it simple? Just take it and the problem is solved. If you want to give support, then there can be complications. And what is the complication? I'll tell you. You're giving support, you saved this pawn, okay, so that problem is solved. But now you have created a new problem. What is that? Your king is open. Your king is open from both the sides, this side, this side. So opponent can come here, opponent can come here. In both the cases, you can have problem because you want to do short castle most of the time. You may not able to do that. Second, if the queen comes here, you don't have that, pawn here, so he can directly give check. So these are the problems. And that's why f6 is not a good move. And normally what do? We play the moves of the pieces and not of the pawns, and not especially the pawns on the king side, these two pawns, okay, the pawn on f7 and pawn on g7, because then our king gets open. So if you want to play g6, bg7, that is okay, but other than that, this is a bad idea. So always remember this, don't do that. Okay, let's go ahead. Yes, white played this one. Actually, now white has to take advantage. How can you take advantage? There is no problem to this pawn. So no need to play this. You play some other pieces like bishop c4, control this, which he has given no chance. So you control that. Even bishop e3 was okay to give support so that you can get the queen out and then attack from this side. Okay, so let's see. Knight c3, then okay, now one more attack. So again, this is a mistake. See, what they have to do in the opening, what is written? See, we have the opening principles written. I have given you, and if you don't know, you can go and check the blog. It's on onlinechesscoaching.com, where you have to go on the blog menu, and the blog is how to play chess for beginners in 11 steps. In that, if you go on the seventh step, step number 7, you will find opening principles. So there you will see the first principle is start with king and queen's pawn. So you can play king and queen's pawn, that is fine. But after that, you have to move the knight, you have to move the bishop, then you do castle as early as possible. Then you move the other knight and bishop out. So all the minor pieces should be out before you move the major pieces. And then you move the major pieces like the queen and the rooks. One more principle, last principle is given there. Don't move any single piece twice unnecessarily in the first 10 minutes. Now that is also very important, because if you keep on playing the same piece again and again, you cannot develop more pieces fast. And then opponent can be ahead in the development. Opponent can control more squares than you. Opponent can attack more. Opponent can get the advantage, and opponent can win the game. So this is why you have to follow the principles properly. All these principles are given. These are general principles, and you have to see the position. Okay, you have to follow this principle if nothing special is happening at that particular moment, that particular move. That means the middle game principles are given, how to think on each move. So that is very important. Each move means on each and every move. So move number 1 to move number last. So even in the opening, you can think those, okay, and then you can understand exactly what is happening in that particular position. So if you are getting free first, what do you have to do? Take that thing. Don't say, no, sir said first you develop all the pieces. No. If you are getting something free, first you take it, because that is more important. If you are losing something free, then what to do? First you save it. Okay. Don't say, no, I want to develop first. I don't have to take it or I will do it afterward. No, that is very important. If you are getting free, of course, you should take those free things, whatever you are getting. Other than that, some checks you have to see. Okay, can you give check? Can the opponent give check? These checks, if they are good, bad, you have to decide as per that to do something or not for that. And then the last one is, why did my opponent play the last move? That is also very important principle for the middle game principle, or you can say the basic, from move number one to move number last. These principles are important and we have to think about it. Yes, so we are thinking about opening principles. So in the opening, we are seeing that only king and queen's pawn you should move. Other than that, you have to move the pieces and not the pawns. If you keep on moving the pawns again and again, the problem is the pawns can't attack more. So you cannot control so many squares. That's very bad. It's not at all good. And that's why unnecessary pawn moves are bad. And your advantage will go down and down. Opponent's advantage will increase more and more. So always remember, if you want to take advantage in the opening, you can move king and queen's pawn, or sometimes even queen bishop pawn is okay, but don't keep on moving the pawns. They will not attack more. And especially don't move the king side pawns, this f and g pawn, unnecessary. Okay, in some openings you can play g6 to play bishop g7, it is okay. But if you don't want to play bishop g7, still you are moving the pawn on g7, then it's not good. So remember this. Okay. So here the main point was, don't keep on moving the pawns. What will happen? You will not attack more. Opponent will control more squares. You will control less squares. If you want to see, I will show you in this position. Now, how many squares are you controlling? If you see, you will see opponent is controlling more squares than you. Okay, like opponent, you are controlling this, this, this. Okay, other than that, you are controlling with this or with this, like this, with this, like this here. Okay, so few squares you are controlling, but if you see now, opponent is controlling so many. I'll show you how many. Opponent is controlling this with one piece. With the second, opponent is controlling this. With the pawns, opponent is controlling like this. With these bishops, opponent is controlling like this, here, here. Okay. So if you see, opponent can control more squares, and that's not good. Okay. So always remember this diagram. If you want to control more squares, what do you have to do? Move the pieces and don't move so many pawn moves. Okay, yes, in particular position, if it is very important, very necessary, it's okay. But otherwise, you should avoid pawn moves. This was a very important point, and that's why I took so much time on this. I hope you must have understood the importance of this point. Don't move the pawns, so many pawns. King and queen is okay, but other than that, unnecessary other pawn you shouldn't move. Don't move this side pawn at all. That's very bad. Okay. Move the pieces. Okay, move more pieces in the opening, and the sequence is given in the block in the opening principle. So if you have any problem, you can go through it, and yes, you will have that. Yes, I am also creating video for that for those opening principles, middle game principles. So you will find it in future, but at least you can go to the blog and see if you want to know the opening principles or middle game principles.